It is a pleasure for the source right now to introduce you to Brock University's ninth Chancellor, Hilary Pearson. Welcome, Hilary.
Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you.
Hilary, how did this assignment come about?
I was called by the president of the university, Dr. Pearson, back in March, and I have to say it came out of the blue. You don't apply for this job; you are invited to do it, and I was surprised, but also honored. It's a rare opportunity to be a chancellor, to serve as chancellor of a university, and I did do some due diligence. I talked to various people at the university before I agreed to take it on. Partly because I wanted to be sure that this was something that I could do where I could really make a contribution to the university. And I was impressed. I was impressed by all the people I spoke to and by the way in which they see the role of chancellor. So I agreed.
How do you see the role of chancellor?
I see it as being both ceremonial, of course. So you represent the university and you, of course, attend convocation, you preside over convocation, you hand out degrees. That's probably job one. But I think beyond that, it is important for the chancellor as a representative of the university to get to know the university well and to speak on its behalf, to be part of the broader discussion and conversation around the region and beyond Niagara, actually, about the role of the university. And I want to do that. I think that's a very important role to play.
Looking at, again, some of your background, obviously, I have to ask you the question about being the granddaughter of a former Prime Minister, Lester B. Pearson.
Right.
How much of your life were you able to spend with the Prime Minister?
Well, I was very lucky. I'm the oldest granddaughter, and I was 18 when he died. And I had actually spent a year with him and my grandmother 2 years before he died in Ottawa. And I was at that point at the end of high school, just thinking about what I wanted to do in my life and what I wanted to study. And my interest in international development was, I think, really at that point built by my interactions with him and by the opportunities I had to see him teaching at Carleton University at that point. But of course, we'd had, many years and I was in Ottawa through the 60s, 1960s, when he was Prime Minister, and so was able to be present at many of the big events of those years, including, of course, Centennial Year. So very much influenced by his leadership and by the things that he cared about and what he wanted to accomplish in the world.
And one of those accomplishments was bringing in the maple leaf, the flag that we still fly today.
That's right. That's right. And I was there. My parents thought that it was important on Flag Day, February 15th, when the flag was first raised in 1965, that we be there. So I remember being on the Hill as a very young child and watching the flag go up. I don't think I understood fully, the magnitude of that change, but I remember vividly that scene, and I'm very proud of it.
You live in Montreal, far away a ways from the Niagara region, but you are connected in a way by somebody from the Niagara region, from St. Catharines, actually, who heavily influenced you, Dr. Laura Savia. Can you talk a little bit about your connection to her? Absolutely.
Yes, she was my mother-in-law, and I first came to St. Catharines in. Oh my goodness, I was very young. I met my husband at university and I started visiting St. Catharines back in the 70s. And I had, I feel, a relationship with her that went beyond the daughter-in-law, mother-in-law relationship. In fact, my interest in mentoring young women, I think, is based in part on what she did. She really was someone who cared deeply about young women and about their opportunities, and she wanted to build those opportunities for them. And she was always someone who I could speak to very candidly about what the challenges were that young women faced. She was interested, she was curious, so I felt we had a really good relationship. And I had to to smile because I can remember her showing me some newspaper clippings of her giving one of her fiery speeches in one of her lovely hats. She was always very well dressed, and knowing that, you know, she was saying some things that were pretty radical, but under the photo that was taken in the newspaper, it said, Mrs. Michael J. Sabia, wife of prominent St. Catherine's doctor, Dr. Michael J. Sabia, calls on women to burn their bras, you know, or the equivalent. It was interesting times, I think. She was a really impressive woman.
Well, as far as role models go, you can't really get much better than Lester B. Pearson and Laura Sabia. Welcome to St. Catherine's. We hope to meet you personally in October when you take over the role at Brock University.
I very much look forward to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time today, Hilary.
Thank you.